are here at Checkers Movie Talk, talking about movies. We can talk about older movies, we can talk about newer movies, anything like that. Now this time I want to flash you back again. We're going back to the past, to the early 1940s. So let's think about how long ago that was. That was 80 years ago. The 1940s were 80 years ago, so that is really cool. We're starting by talking about a movie, and actually this isn't just a movie. This is called a movie short. This means it's not a full-length movie, it's a shorter movie, and it is called Superman. Yes, there were 17 Superman cartoons made in the early 1940s by Fleischer Animation Studios and later Famous Animation Studios, and it centers around the character of Superman. Now, I watched these cartoons when I was younger because eventually, just like another cartoon I talked about earlier on Checkers Library TV, this went to the public domain. So that means anyone can watch this right now. You can find it on the internet pretty easily. Type in Fleischer Superman cartoons. You can find them on some videos and some DVDs, things like that. You can find these cartoons very easily. Now, they came out many, many years ago, and they invented all sorts of technologies because this was made in the early days of animation. They came up with something called rotoscoping. And that means you take a real person, a person like me, and then they traced around them, and they used the technology to use real movements and turn them into animations. So this cartoon was really special. It also was what created the idea of Superman flying. And that's because the animators had trouble with the idea of Superman. When Superman first came out, all he could do was jump really high and then he'd fall back down. But what this animation studio came up with was it would be so much easier if Superman could just fly, because then they wouldn't have to have him going bouncing up and down. So they invented the idea of Superman flying on this cartoon series. It also had all these different shadows and dark colors, and it made it look really, really realistic and really special. And that idea of the way that was shaded and lit and how it was all colorful and very vibrant is still being used today. A lot of modern day animations have looked back to these cartoons and used what they were doing to make their own new special creations. So this was really influential. It had a great point in history where it inspired so many people who were growing up in that time, and people still today are watching these cartoons. And when I was younger, I didn't even know that these cartoons were so much older than me. I thought that they were coming out new when I was growing up. So it's really amazing how something made that long ago still has an important place in history, and it still looks new. It's really, really special. So it was a really, really great series. It came out, like I said, many years ago. There were 17 episodes, and you can find them really easily. So I definitely recommend you check these out to learn more about the Superman cartoons and watch them. They're so much fun, and they're only about 7 minutes each, so you can watch them all pretty quickly. I hope you get a chance to do that and learn more about the history of animation, because it's a great thing to learn about. And if you are interested in learning more about animation, ask your library if they have a book about animation. You can learn about the history, different ways that artists animate, illustrations, how you can draw the cartoons and the characters, and then, like I said, animations, all you're doing is taking that drawing and making it move around. So that's really interesting. I hope you get a chance to learn about that. So definitely ask your library if they have any books on animation. And we will have more movies and history to talk about next time on Checkers Movie Talk.
And now it's time for
the Joke of the Week. Why are librarians very good at planning vacations? They know how to book a trip. Oh yeah!
Hello and welcome to Checkers Loves Books. This is the part of the show where I recommend books that I think you should be reading, and we have two books to talk about today, books for younger readers and books for older readers. And we're going to start with the younger readers. We have a book by P.D. Eastman. It is called Go Dog Go. This is from a series of books called I Can Read It All by Myself. It is a beginner book, and it's really one of those books that I remember really well because it had a lot of rhymes in it, and you would know what was coming up next when you read it over and over. And it was one of those books that I would read pretty much every day. Let me read like one of the lines from the books here. All right, so it says, "The sun is up, the sun is yellow, the yellow sun is over the house. It is hot out here in the sun. It is not hot here under the house." So I would remember what was coming up next, and it got me really excited because all the dogs are going somewhere in the end, and you have to kind of find out where they're going and what's happening, and you get really excited as you keep reading it over and over. And like I said, it's a really good rhyming book, so you're going to remember it. And when you're able to read it by yourself, it's really exciting, and you're going to be able to kind of piece your way through it, and you're going to remember it really well, and you might end up finding yourself, even when you become a grown-up, remembering all the words in the book. So we have Go Dogs Go for the younger readers. But for the older readers, we have this book here, which is called Holes by Louis Sachar. This is another book I remember really well. It's about a boy named Stanley Yelnats who lives with his family. His father's an inventor, but his inventions haven't really ever gone very well, and the family's kind of struggling. He also lives with his grandfather, who tells him all these stories about his family. Now, Stanley gets arrested for a crime he didn't commit, and he doesn't go to jail because he's a kid, so he gets sent off to a camp with other kids who have committed crimes, and what they have to do every day is dig holes, and they're digging it for a whole group of people, and they don't know why they're digging the holes, but there turns out to be a secret behind what they're doing. And there's a whole mystery with Stanley's ancestors, his grandfather, his great-grandfather involved in all of it. And it's a really, really interesting story, and it's going to be very, very exciting. So you're going to have a lot of fun reading this story and seeing where the mystery goes. And it's a book you're going to remember very well. It's got a lot of great characters in it. There's a lot of themes of friendship and family, and there's also, like I said, a really cool curse with the Stanley Yelnats family and a mystery that you're going to learn more about as the story progresses. It's not too long, so you'll be able to read this by yourself, and you'll be able to work through it, and you're, like I said, when you get to the end, you're going to really enjoy what happens and how it all comes together in the end. So we do have Holes here for the older readers. I definitely recommend you read this book, and there was a movie made about it about 15 years ago or so that I think you're also going to enjoy. It's really a lot like the book, and it's really cool whenever you get to see a book you read come to life on the big screen. So check that out also. So Holes for the older readers. And we have Go Dog Go for the younger readers. So make sure you check out both these books. They're very different, but they're for younger readers and older readers. I think you're really going to enjoy them. Check them out and check out more books at the library. I'll have more books to talk about next time on Checkers Loves Books.
Let's do Three Little Monkeys Swinging on a Tree. So get three little monkeys ready. Three little monkeys swinging on a tree, teasing Mr. Alligator, you can't catch me. Along comes Mr. Alligator, hungry as can be. Snap! Two little monkeys swinging on a tree, teasing Mr. Alligator, you can't catch me. Along comes Mr. Alligator, hungry as can be. Snap! One little monkey swinging on a tree, teasing Mr. Alligator, you can't catch me. Along comes Mr. Alligator, hungry as can be. Snap! No more monkeys swinging on a tree.